Forbidden man's rough best friend Taboo Brat coming home. Hard older man and innocent younger woman short sex story. From the series Filthy Inexperienced Brat Taken No. 6. Written by Owena Eden. Narrated by Jessica Howard.
Chapter 1. Sara felt her stomach begin to flutter as the plane started to descend. She wasn't used to feeling nervous on planes. She'd flown on them many times and had never felt any nervousness before. Sara took a couple of deep breaths and tried to relax. She guessed that it was what was going to happen after the plane landed that was making her this nervous, and not the landing itself. Her hunch was confirmed when the plane touched down fully, and her anxiety only increased. The plane slid to a stop, and Sara waited patiently for her chance to disembark. Once her seat was called, she stood up and grabbed her carry-on, then walked off the plane. She headed down the gangway and headed for the arrival area. She found herself slowing down as she approached the doorway. The butterflies in her stomach that had gone away while she was grabbing her carry-on came back full force. Once she went through the gateway, there was no turning back. Sara had traveled to meet her real mother. In the beginning, the idea of meeting the person who had given her life seemed like a good idea. She'd found out she was adopted when she was 19, and it had taken her 4 months to finally track down her birth mother. After finding her, they chatted back and forth for a few months, but Sara never thought they would meet. She lived on the East Coast, and her mother was living all the way across the country with her husband, who, Sara supposed, would technically be her stepfather. Then, as a graduation present to celebrate Sara's good marks, her adoptive parents had surprised her with a round-trip ticket. It turned out that they had also been communicating with Sara's biological family, and had arranged for her to spend a month out there. That way, they said, she could get to know her roots and where she came from before she headed off to college and began the next part of her life. Sara wept with joy when she saw the plane tickets in the envelope that she'd been given at her graduation dinner. Now, however, she was beginning to have doubts about whether or not meeting her mother and extended family without having her adopted parents with her was such a good idea. She longed to have someone familiar with her that she could share the experience with. She understood why her adopted parents wanted to give her space, and why they were allowing her to do this on her own. But she was starting to wish that they hadn't decided to send her for an entire month completely on her own. She'd never really been away from home that long before, and wasn't sure that this was the right time to start.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?